Blog Talk Radio.
This is the Shanice Lewis Show, the #1 podcast for plus-size women. With your host, the queen of curvy conversation, Shanice Lewis.
Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Shanice Lewis. Today is a Monday, August 29th, 2022. Make sure you're following this show's social media pages on Facebook at The Shanice Lewis Show and on Instagram and Twitter at Shanice Show. And make sure you subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast provider and never miss a show. Today we have a very special guest. Cameron Boyland, also known as Big Cam, is a dedicated big and tall model and influencer based in Dallas, Texas. Over the past year, he has become a TikTok viral sensation and the 2021 DXL Big Model Search winner. Outside of being a professional big and tall model, he is also an entrepreneur, creative director, and producer. Cameron is represented internationally in London and signed to 5 agencies in America. Some of the major brands he has worked for include Savage Fenty, JCPenney's, DXL, and Champion. He has been featured in publications such as XL Tribe Magazine, Crave Magazine, Voyage Dallas, and Yahoo News. Cameron partnered with National Curves Day, Inc. as co-founder of the Bigger Picture campaign sponsored by Johnny Big, taking place September 10th during New York Fashion Week to advance the big and tall community within the fashion industry. And we're going to learn about that today and more. Let's welcome Cameron to the show. Hey.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. I'm so excited to talk to you today because you got a lot going on.
Yeah, I do. Thanks for having me. I definitely, appreciate the opportunity to discuss what I got going on and how I'm, trying to bring the community together for the plus size men.
Yes. So when did you first learn about the plus community?
I actually first learned, I guess, more about it when I started my own clothing line. It's now called shopsizedoesmatter.com. So I'll go back to, it really all started 2019, that summer when Shaquille O'Neal partnered with Wilhelmina and JCPenney's to launch his suit line. And I auditioned for that. And from that audition in Dallas, Texas, I was signed on the spot to Kim Dawson Agency. It was me and 9 other guys that they had selected out of the crowd. So although I didn't win that contest, it created other opportunities after that. So once I got signed, I just started doing different things. And so I started my own clothing line. And then I'm also in school pursuing my master's in marketing. So I actually utilized my clothing line as one of my projects. So in that process, I was just learning more about the industry. It wasn't a ton of knowledge on just the big and tall community, but what I did gather, I realized that there wasn't a lot of, I guess, collaboration going on with the community. For one, it was a lack of awareness, and it had the potential to be a very lucrative industry, but I came to find out that plus-size women actually passed us. During that time, it was I think a $25 to $40 billion industry, and plus-size men were actually at $900 million, so almost at $1 billion. It sounds like a lot, but it wasn't a lot at that time, and the numbers were actually going down. It was more lucrative in the early 2000s, actually. So just doing more research on that for my clothing line is how I started realizing hey, how can I bring together everything that I'm doing? Because I do a lot. I was in school, working full-time job at the bank, modeling myself, helping other creatives as well. So I was how can I bring all of this together, which brings me to the bigger picture campaign.
Well, before we get to that, though, if you wouldn't have seen that model search for Shaquille O'Neal, did you even know that big and tall modeling was a thing?
Oh, so I didn't really know specifically that big and tall modeling was a thing, but I already come from a creative background, so I used to act and model when I was in middle school, high school. I just, put it on a back burner pursuing school and my academics. Then when I got into the work field, I realized, like, hey, this isn't it. Like, I don't feel fulfilled. My first job out of college was I was working as a operations manager at Amazon, and it was just, I was just in that moment where I just knew that this couldn't be it for me. So I started tapping into my creative side more and working with some people that I had found in the Dallas area, like a couple photographers, other models as well. So I was already started modeling again when that opportunity came. I was actually told in college, I remember seeing that one of my mentors told me, success is when opportunity and preparation intersect. And so I was already tapping into back into my modeling, and then that opportunity came, and so I feel like it was, just the right fit. But I wasn't really aware that big and tall was, its own lane.
But you saw the plus size women models, but you didn't know yet the big and tall wasn't getting the same exposure in the mainstream media.
Right. So I was just doing my thing from back in the day because I've just always went against the grain anyway. So, but I didn't know that now that I'm networking and having more conversations with people, it's a lot of us out there trying to do the same thing.
And now you weren't successful with your first model search, but then another model search came along and you hit it big time. Now tell us about this DXL model search.
Funny how that worked because I'd been reached out to DXL about modeling opportunities. Didn't hear anything back, didn't get any feedback or correspondence. So then at the end of last year, 2021, the opportunity came where they were looking for a model. So I'm like, again, like I said earlier, success is when opportunity and preparation intersect. And so I'm like, this is crazy that they're having this contest because I've been reaching out to them to try to, figure out how I could potentially represent their brand. So when that came out, the voting process, I just connected with all of my friends, all of my peers, family members. We had a couple of voting parties. So we were just like voting every day. Everybody was like, it was funny because now that I look back on it, like we were all tired. Like everybody was every day waking up, staying up all night, just voting. And when I got the announcement that I won, it was actually on my birthday, October 8th of last year, when they announced that I was the winner. So it was a great.
That was perfect.
Yeah, that was definitely perfect. So I just felt like it was destined for me, like it was, in the works for that to happen for me.
So what did you win?
So I was a part of the campaign. So that was the biggest reward. They flew me to Rhode Island. That was my first time ever going up north or to Rhode Island, period. So they flew me up there, and then we did the campaign shoot. I did the interview. And then after that, they actually invited me to do some more campaigns with them, so built on that relationship. So it was just basically being featured and representing their brand. And I also won a $1,000 gift card.
Nice. And so your career in big and tall modeling took off rather quickly because I see one of your clients is Savage Fenty. Now, tell us about that experience. And did you get to meet Rihanna?
No, I didn't get to meet Rihanna. But the photo shoot was based in L.A. that was actually my first time going to LA, which was earlier this year. And so they actually contacted me, contacted my agent. They actually contacted me twice because I actually was on hold with them at the end of last year, right after the DXL thing. Then I was released from that, and then they contacted another one of my agencies, and then I was able to confirm the shoot. So when that happened, that was fun. Just the whole setup, the building where they work, because they do the photo shoots and their campaigns all in the same building of where they work, the whole marketing team. So it was really fun. It was very exciting. I met a lot of different people. It was a full day shoot, and it was just, it was just a great experience. But I didn't get to meet Rihanna, but I wanted to. I think she was actually pregnant during that time when I shot. But my photos haven't been released yet, so I believe it should be coming. Yeah, this fall.
So that's new. That's still hot off the press then.
Yeah, that's still fairly new.
Okay, so are you approaching the point where you're going to be a full-time model soon?
I actually am a full-time model now. I guess since June. Been doing this full-time.
Wow. Well, congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And I didn't think you would be a full-time model yet, because you just been modeling for what, like a year and a half?
Yeah, about a year and a half. I got my first gig. It was Caliber Collision Auto Care. I did that shoot in May 2021. So although I signed with Kim Dawson in 2019, COVID hit, and so everything had slowed down. So I didn't get my first gig until a year later. So now I've been officially or professionally modeling for about a year and a half.
All right. Well, you are blessed, because that is not the norm. Well, that's not the norm with the women, because some people have to model like 8 years before they can be full-time.
Right.
So tell me about this relationship you have with National Curves Day.
So my relationship with National Curves Day, it started excuse me. It started back, I believe it was like February 2021. I was living in Memphis at the time, Memphis, Tennessee. I was at work. My field is operations management. I was working at Family Dollar at the time, and I can't remember exactly how the conversation initiated, but one of the co-founders, I was pretty much speaking to him about what I've been doing in the community, what I wanted to do, and he just thought I had a great vision, and he was telling me more about what they do with National Curves Day, and it's just like both of our visions align. So we've been just like really networking and collaborating since then. I've been helping out, being a part of the sponsorship team. We actually came together to sponsor and organize an event that was in Houston this past spring. It was the So Classic Gents Excel gathering, and that was another big and tall movement that we had come together and planned that event. And so, which we're planning a whole entire campaign right now, the Bigger Picture campaign. So I've been pretty much working with them as a community partner. They've been very supportive. So
you're like an ambassador?
I'm actually a part of National Curves Day now. So I'm just operate on the operation side, management, sponsorship management as well.
Okay. And so now tell me about the Bigger Picture campaign.
Yeah, so the Bigger Picture campaign, as I mentioned earlier, just by doing the research with my clothing line and just being a part of the community working on both sides of the camera, I just realized, we need more, we need unity. So like I said, there's a lot of different movements. Like we have the So Classy Gents movement. There's other guys I know come together, try to do things. A lot of guys in New York, they were trying to do things. And so I realized we're all shooting for the same thing, but we don't have major collabs. And so that's why I've just, been using my voice and using my influence to talk to different guys. And so I already knew, actually my frat brother, Brandon Madden, he's been in the game for several years. He was actually one of the guys I met at the Shaq audition. I actually met him, and he introduced me to one of the JCPenney execs that put me in contact with Kim Dawson. So I've known him for a couple of years. So I was talking to him about, like, hey, what can we do? How can we, get to the next level in our careers? Then that conversation branched off to talking to Stephen G. I know him personally. He was Savage Fenty, Rihanna's first big and tall model, Ecom, and then Brandon also knew Swizz that lived in New York that was actually in Rihanna's show on Amazon, Volume 3. He was actually the only big and tall guy in that show, and he actually did a campaign with Rihanna for Valentine's Day. So we were just all talking together. I was like, hey, let's come together, because we all have, like, the same issues regardless of how it looks like on social media. I know a lot of people are proud of us. We influence a lot of people, but there's still a struggle within the industry of getting our voices heard. And then an article in Vogue came out, I believe it was earlier this year, basically stating that there wasn't enough plus-size male representation for luxury brands. So we're like, they're utilizing us more. There's buzz for us in the commercial realm, but not in the high fashion realm. And then even on the commercial side, they're still kind of like moving slow with it. So, yeah, we realize there's a lot of conversations being had, but there's no real call to action. So we was like, hey, let's use our influence, let's use our platform to come together to show the unity as some of the people that are leading in the big and tall industry to influence others, that we need to all come together. So we're like, let's launch this campaign. And so with the campaign, we reached out to all of our resources, our contacts. Johnny Big, which is a plus-size male brand based in Australia, came on board to sponsor us. National Curve Day decided to be a community partner to help us deliver the message that basically we want to be on the runways as well. And so we were like, hey, let's go to New York City during New York Fashion Week, all come together and make a statement. So we're going to be in Times Square on September 10th. Without giving too much details, but we're going to all collaborate, come together. It's going to be a flash mob, and we're going to have a couple surprise elements. And so that'll be kind of like a stepping stone of what we plan for the future, because we want this campaign to eventually be event-based, and those events basically turn into a movement. And so all of that kind of just builds off each other. We don't want it to just be one thing and then it stops there and it gets stale. We want to continuously be able to build on this and create a larger network, just as the plus-size women have. And so,
absolutely.
plus-size have definitely paved the way for us. And so, just a salute to plus-size women, curvy women models, and everything that you all are doing, because, without y'all, we couldn't have, done what we're doing. And so, but we definitely want the same opportunities as the plus-size women as well, because they actually had a plus-size woman on the runway this year, Precious Lee, and she got a lot of publicity and there was a lot of press around it. In London, they've always pretty much been ahead. They've always been like one step ahead of us in America, because they had a couple of plus-size guys on the runway this year. One of the guys that I'm actually friends with, his name is James Corbin. He did a campaign for Valentino, and that was pretty big. And then he also was in that Vogue article I mentioned earlier about talking about luxury brands that were not represented. There's a lack of size inclusivity. And so we've just been having these conversations. We've been having Instagram lives every week with other influential big and tall models, such as Zach Nico, Miguel Perdomo. We just recently had that last week. And And so, yeah, we've been talking to these different gentlemen, having these conversations, getting the word out there, contacting the press, contacting the media organizations to just, focus on this message, the bigger picture. We want everyone to see the bigger picture of what's going on. And so, like I said, we all came together just to help the community.
And so your IG live shows where you're having these group discussions with big and tall models and influencers, are these people that will be participants in the flash mob, or are these people that are just in the big and tall community?
It's both. So, yeah, most of them I have intentions on coming unless it's a schedule conflict. I know, especially ones that are currently in New York, they're pretty much booked every week. So, yeah, pretty much everybody we're having conversations with will be in attendance. But if they're not, it's because it's a schedule conflict. But we've invited, and we were estimating it at the beginning to be about 50 registrants, but we have well over that now. So it's going to be over 50 people in attendance of this event.
Nice. And so if somebody is listening and want to get involved, how do you do so?
Yeah, if you're listening and you want to get involved, you will go to thebiggerpicture.live. You would go on that link. It's pretty simple, very user-friendly. You'll just fill out the information there, basic contact information, and then you'll get a follow-up email just to give you more details on where to be as far as the location and what to wear to the event as well. But we're doing a high fashion look, so everyone's coming with their best high fashion look with their own personal style, and we're coming to make a statement.
And this particular flash mob is for men only, right?
Yeah, it's men only, but we definitely welcome women too to come participate. But it's men focused, but we're inviting everyone. Everyone that supports the brand, the cause, they can see the bigger picture. We definitely want women to come out and support as well.
Now, you are based in Dallas, Texas. Now, what would your advice be to someone in the South who thinks they have to relocate to New York to have a successful modeling career?
Yeah, you don't have to relocate. Of course, in the fashion world, New York City is the mecca for that. But with social media and globalization now, you can just kind of, if you want to work in New York, you can reach out to, there's plenty of agencies up there that will sign you. But it's best if you live in the South to find an agency down here that's local to you, because you get a lot of local work as well. That's what really what pays the bills the most, like the local work. And then once you get signed wherever you're located, they can help you reach out to other places for placements. So they can reach out on your behalf to an agency in New York or to an agency in L.A. That's pretty much what I did, because Kim Dawson is my mother agency. I was trying to get signed to other agencies as well, just to, expand my network. But then I had a conversation with them, and they were like, yeah, this is what we're here for. We're here we work for you all pretty much. So once I communicated with them, they got a quicker response than I did, because you got to remember how many submissions they get all the time. So my agency reached out to New York, and I was able to get signed with True Models in New York. And they had that conversation, and it just worked easily. But it doesn't matter where you're located. I would just advise that wherever you are, try to find out what agency best fits you in that area, and then try to expand from there. But you don't have to live in the actual, I had the same misconception as well. You don't have to live in the area wherever you're signed.
And also, besides just with the agency, there's events and things going on in the Plus community in the South. And sometimes I just think the people in the South don't know each other. Like, what's going on in Louisiana don't know what's going on in Texas. Because, I live in Baton Rouge and didn't know y'all had an event in Houston.
Yeah. I think it's just, like I said, it's so many different movements that stalemated, and that's what I've noticed. So that's why I'm trying to help get the word out and pretty much do what we're doing now, like having these conversations to create the awareness. I definitely don't believe it's intentional. I think it's just there's not enough awareness, and we live in an information age where you get so much information and you don't really know. So as we connect and network and collaborate more, other people are like, oh, you know so-and-so too, or I've worked with them, and then it could just, become bigger. Because, like, eventually, like, what if we just get to an entire weekend of everything plus women, plus guys? I mean, that's essentially what National Curves Day, came established from. And so we really want to get to that where we have, like, a whole weekend or a whole week. Absolutely. Or what if we had a whole day during New York Fashion Week?
Absolutely. And your bio says that you're an entrepreneur, a creative director, a producer. So what other projects do you have going on?
This is the main project that I have going on right now, and I'm just simultaneously working on different gigs. I'm actually supposed to shoot with Amazon in New York this week, so I'm just waiting to hear back from them. So I'm just kind of giving my all. Since I'm doing this full time, I'm just giving my all to my dream and to my craft. So after the bigger picture, then we got to get ready. DXL declared January as Big and Tall month, so we got to get ready for that. Then you got New York Fashion Week again, spring and early next year. And so I'm just going to keep focusing on this, partnering with National Curves Day, and just, dedicating myself to modeling and working on both sides of the cameras. So, and this, sometimes I have to wear, I wear many different hats. And so for the campaign, we actually did a shoot last week. So during that, I had to just be in model mode because it was hard trying to do both, or I wasn't, it shows in your pictures when you're not really present. And so I had to really focus on the modeling part. And then, but before it got to the shoot, I had to do everything on the production side, setting it up, getting everything organized. And then, so if it's an event, I also have to be like, I've been on the operations side, the producing side of it. And then when we're actually there, I'm going to have to, tap into being a creative director.
So what is the ultimate goal of your brand?
The ultimate goal for the bigger picture is to be a movement that brings everything big and tall. Us, like I said, it's a plus-size male campaign, so bring everything big and tall together. Brands, major brands such as, I have contacts, of course, with DXL, JCPenney, and other major brands. So bringing those brands together to your everyday big and tall guy and making it an actual movement. And like I said before, having different events or having weekends or having a week in the future, starting next year, of just making it a really big movement. Because if we get, all of us, as we mentioned before, we all get a lot of messages from people, hey, how do you do this? How do you get into modeling? So a lot of people are interested, or where do you shop at? Because there's a demand for us. And we have the finances as consumers to purchase products. A lot of people in the industry say they haven't tapped into so much into extended sizing because they feel like they would lose money or that people wouldn't buy it. But based off statistics, 70% of Americans are considered overweight. So there's obviously a demand. It's just the fact that they're not marketing to plus-size people. So you have to market and invest money into the advertisement to make people aware of that you sell extended sizes. Then people will be more willing to shop.
Absolutely. Well, you definitely have my support with everything you have going on. You have a new ally. You have a new platform to promote on. And I'm right next door to you in Louisiana, so you just let me know whenever you have something going on. So before you leave, tell us your official website and your social media pages.
Official website is bigcamofficial.com. My Instagram is IamBigCamOfficial. And then for those that are interested in being a part of the Flash Mob, September 10th, 12 p.m., noon Eastern Standard Time in New York Times Square, you can register for that for free at thebiggerpicture.live.
And you said January was Big and Tall Month?
Correct. January is Big and Tall Month.
Maybe January I'll have all men on my podcast, but see, I don't really know all the big and tall influencers, so I'm going to have to connect back with you so you can tell me who's who.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So, okay, we'll definitely keep in touch and continued success with everything you have going on.
Okay, I appreciate you, and thank you again for having me on your show.
All right, and enjoy the rest of your day.
All right, you too. Have a blessed one.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
And thank you to my guest this evening. I've been your host, Shanice Lewis. Thank you for tuning in and supporting. Until next time, keep thriving in your curves and be blessed.
You've been listening to The Shanice Lewis Show. For more info about the show, visit ShaniceLewisShow.com.